All right, folks, welcome back to yet another edition of the Brown Butter Popcorn Podcast. I was about to say we
I
gotta
wanted it
call
to sound like an ed because we don't have the sounds. So I wanted to do
sound
like
like
an
an investment somebody need to make. They keep bringing it up.
it sounds like in a little I just wanted to do like angelic sound. That's what I was going for.
I don't know why, but sure,
It
sounds
done
good.
ran.
I don't know what that was, but with that said, um, I was thinking like I need to like differentiate my intros. I feel like I start every podcast I do the
Yeah,
same way, and I
every
really
last
need
one.
to not do that. So, because I was thinking like again, Van is like my inspiration when it comes to podcasting. Van
Hmm.
Lathan, and he has like his different intros for higher learning and the Midnight Boys. So, I gotta figure that out. But for now, we just need to be consistent in even recording podcasts. So we'll worry about that as we get there.
Oh, shade. Okay.
So we're here today to talk about Fantastic Four.
Yes.
Depending on how that goes, we may like dabble in some other stuff, but we're here to talk about Fantastic Four, the latest movie to come out in theaters, the latest big movie, the latest Marvel movie, etc., and so forth. We will definitely dive into the Fantastic Four here shortly, but we got a quick little icebreaker just to kind of warm us up on the mic.
Okay.
There's a website that gives you random topics. I spun it before we started, but do you want to veto that pick?
Yes, I
All
want
right,
to veto it.
let's
Now
do
it's
it
gonna be
again.
one that's even
We're
worse.
gonna find out. We're gonna spin it.
What's this
It
say?
says this movie caused controversy when it came out.
That's boring.
I have
It's
one,
not
but
boring, but it's like I can't. I know you have
nothing.
one. That's what I'm
That's fine. We
saying.
can keep going. Like I have no problem with that. It actually allows you to eliminate options too. It
Mm,
gave us old again. Would you like to
okay,
eliminate old?
let's go with it. Oh,
You want to eliminate old or keep going with it? All
let's
right.
do it.
So I see old, and I don't know exactly what they mean by old. My first thought was the movie Old by M. Night Shyamalan that came out a couple years ago. It actually had Aaron Pierre in it. He played a character that I hated so much that I think me and Reese spent like 15 minutes on the podcast talking about his character's name. He was a rapper named Midsize Sedan.
I remember you told me about that. I haven't seen that movie. I saw the previews and I was like, oh my God, that looks so weird. Like, how's that gonna play out?
So it's M. Night Shyamalan, so expect it to be weird.
Right.
It's one of those movies that actually was fun to watch. Didn't hate the twist, but it still has like some M. Night Shyamalan type stuff that you got to kind of look past to enjoy. But overall, it's probably one of his better, more recent movies. I think we both like Trap.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell it got too twisty at the end.
Yeah, it was too
I
much.
feel like he has very good ideas. It's just the execution that's questionable.
I got you.
That was the first thing that came to mind. I could go another way if unless you have something at this point.
I don't know. Like when I think about old, I think about films. I think of Turner Classic Movies.
Okay.
I don't have a favorite, but for some reason, like I can watch that channel all day. Like I can just watch black and white films,
The black and white. Okay.
the black and whites.
I'm gonna get you on. So I had a series I wanted to do. I still want to do it. You know, that poster I have
Mm,
in the office with the 100 greatest movies of all time. A lot of those movies are black and white. I'm about to recruit you to help me watch some of these movies.
I'm with that.
Okay. Let's get it done. Um, Last thing I'll say on the topic of old and movies. There is an old movie that me and my family used to watch all the time. I
Okay.
think I might have told you. It's 1956's The Bad Seed. I actually have the
Mm,
poster.
yeah, me
It's not
too.
up right now, but I do have a poster for the movie. It's a classic. It's been remade 1,000 times. Um, I think it was the first movie where they killed a child on camera. And so at the end of the
Mm,
movie, they had to like have the whole cast come out and bow because like they killed a bunch of people in the movie. Like the
Mhm.
girl was killing people.
But yeah, killing a child is like
Right.
different. Yeah,
So at the end, they
different
had all the
response.
characters come out and like wave to like it was almost like they did it like a play almost like they had all the characters come out at the end and kind of wave to show we didn't kill everybody. It was just movie magic type of thing, which is it's just interesting. Like it's a moment in time. I think there's one scene. There's a lot of scenes that are like etched into my memory, but one in particular, I think the mom was starting to get frustrated with not being able to control her daughter, and
Mm,
she has like her head down on a desk, and she just like ringing, like doing something with her hand to where like her knuckles are like raking across the desk, but she's like,
mm.
why, or something like that. It's like the clacking of her knuckles, like that stuck in my head for some reason, but it's nice to see where we came from to get to where we are when it comes to cinema, but some things like a good story can are timeless. So,
I agree.
all right, that's all I got on old. If you're ready to lock in,
I'm ready. I'm ready to lock in.
all
I just,
right,
I don't know. Like, I like the random generator,
okay.
but I like to have more time to think about stuff. I do because I guess I'm not as good on my feet as I want to be. Um, because I don't talk a lot about like movies. Like I always tell you all the time,
We're
like
gonna fix that.
this is your thing. And so I've over my lifetime, I've watched so many movies.
Mhm.
And it's so weird because like having a conversation, someone may ask me, well, have you seen this movie? Have you seen that movie?
Mhm.
And I don't know. But I know what I felt. I know storylines.
Mhm.
So if you can tell me, okay, the backdrop was 1920s and this was happening, that is happening. I'm like, oh yeah, I seen something like that. Was this happening and that happening? And they're like, yeah. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Because, I was never, I don't know, movies were so much a part of our lives because growing up we didn't have cable,
Okay.
and so we watched movies all the time, VHSs, DVDs, all the time. And so I have some favorites, but are they my favorites because I really like them, or are they my favorites because we just watch them all the time?
I mean, I think there's value in the idea of. So here's what I say. Like, there's a big difference between best and favorites.
Mm,
Like Big Mama's House is a movie me, my mom, sister could recite word for word.
right,
Like we could act out the movie. Like we watched it so much.
right.
Um, that's a favorite movie. Like it's not a movie nobody's gonna sit here and say is like a top 100 or anything like that. Probably not even the top five Martin
But
movie,
it's a favorite
but it's
because
a
it's
favorite because of
attached to
right. It
memories.
has
Yeah.
that value, that sentimental value that and that
And
matters.
so that's what matters to me. So when I have my favorites, most of my things are nostalgic. And so it's just like, I can remember those, but just all the movies that I've seen over time, I don't remember. I don't remember everything. I'll remember actors, actresses. Um, just because, oh, I like the roles that they play.
Mhm.
Oh, I like their style of acting. I like their diversity, how they're able to play all these different roles and everything. And
Okay.
so I don't know, like I'm learning from you, and I feel like we kind of like bounce things off of each other. And
Yeah,
so I appreciate that.
I think what we got down to when it comes to you and movies is that until I exploded onto the scene, I was gonna let me stop.
Mm,
Until I got came around, like movies were more of a personal thing for you. Like you watch them, you enjoy them, you move on with your life. And
yes.
I'm making you make it a social thing where you have to talk about it and
Right.
feel things and other
Right.
good stuff.
And be judged. Like that's a big that's seriously that's a big deal. Like I remember when I started to like share the movies that I like with other people. And I have my own little collection and I'm just like, okay, but this is what I have. well, what is that? It's like, you know what? I'm never showing anything again. Not doing that.
I think one of the big things, and we can move on after this. I think one of the big things with being a movie person and not being a fan of stuff that the people around you are fans of is difficult. And that's
Mm,
where finding a community online and things of that nature is helpful, or has been helpful for me because where the people I was hanging out with in school might not have been into the same stuff I was into. I can at least find somebody that is into those things, and that's been a fun journey.
that's dope.
All right, so let's do it. Fantastic Four, just right off the bat. Um, did you enjoy the movie?
Yes, I did. I enjoyed it, but I am a fan of the Fantastic Four
So,
franchise.
so let's talk about that because um, as big a Marvel person as I am, I very much was committed to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which means that anything that wasn't tied to the Marvel Cinematic Universe specifically, I did not partake in. So I did not watch any of the other Fantastic Four movies because
Mm,
they were made by a different studio. They did not matter to the timeline. And just like with the X-Men movies, I did not want to taint my brain with these images of these characters until they were actually back in Marvel's hands.
mm.
I really didn't watch all the old Spider-Mans like that. I think I watched the first Tobey Maguire one, but I didn't watch any of the Andrew Garfield or anything like that. Like, and I
Really?
love Spider-Man, which is weird.
I love the Andrew
But
Garfield Spider-Man.
yeah, but I didn't watch any of those movies because again, I was very committed to the MCU and I was like, they're gonna get these characters eventually. And I don't want my brain tainted with these other versions of these characters.
But wouldn't it help you though to help? I don't know. Like, how can you like something without seeing what was or having a comparison?
Because based on the comics and the cartoons and stuff like that, like I know who these characters are. I like these characters because of those things. That doesn't mean I want to see them like the official visual representation of these people, like in the flesh, if you will.
Mm.
I I could wait on that until they were again part of the proper Marvel canon
A
again.
proper,
Yeah,
okay.
don't make fun of Gwen. Um,
No.
but yeah, so with that said, you did watch these movies.
Yes.
How did that affect your enjoyment of this movie?
So remember what I told you? We were talking about this the other day, and I told you that uh, until adulthood, I didn't know the difference. I was just like, oh, okay, so sometimes they have this person playing this role and sometimes they do it with another person.
Mhm.
So as far as different studios and different timelines,
Like the idea
different
of
universes.
a definitive person being that character wasn't something that was on your mind.
No, never. Remember I told you about the Hulk movies. I
Right.
watched the ones before
Yeah.
the great because like I mean and I get it and I guess I'm not as much as I love superhero movies, I'm not a diehard like fan of the comic strip. And not saying that I don't appreciate it. I didn't have comic strips growing up or comic books growing up. And so, my brothers, I had older brothers, they watched a lot of the cartoons and stuff and I just kind of catch stuff. But to me it was just TV. And so like if it's just TV, then I don't know that there's a timeline or sequence or this happened first and then this happened. I thought random stuff was just happening all the time. And so and so I couldn't I don't know. I think I still can honestly say I don't have as much of an appreciation as for example you do for it. And so like certain things you're just like, oh no, like it has to be this or it has to be that. And I roll with it. But I really don't care
And I'm
who presents it, I'm gonna watch it.
And I'm gonna say like it's not. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I was like locked in with the comic books. Like I don't have a comic book collection or nothing like that. I honestly can't even. I can tell you a couple things. Like I know a lot of obscure Marvel characters because I stole a Marvel encyclopedia from the library as a kid, and it was
So
like
bad.
I know it was like I can't think it was like the M through like P or something like that. It was at least M through P because I remember I had the Nova Corps was in there. I had who did I have? North Star. I remember him. There's a character named Puck. I remember him. So like it would like give you like a breakdown of the character, all their powers and
Mm,
stuff like that, and where they first appeared in the comics. And again, I didn't know the significance of all these things
right.
necessarily, but the way my brain works, if I read something, I'll probably retain the information, even if I don't know what to make of it at that time. And so then when it becomes time to activate that
It's like,
information,
oh,
it's there.
I remember this
Right.
from the stolen encyclopedia.
It is not like I like said, "Ooh, let me steal this encyclopedia." It was one
Right.
of them things where
Mm.
I like checked it out and then never brought it back. Happens. It
Haphazardly.
happens.
Oh, okay.
Um, but yeah, so you're basically saying that there was no, you weren't going into this comparing the characters to other versions of them
No, so
necessarily.
me knowing how the other movies were, and I didn't watch them, like I haven't seen them in years, but it didn't bother me. I didn't feel like my idea or my view was tainted based off of the fact that I have seen these in the past. I
Okay.
remember we watched the little trailers and I was just like, oh snap, I forgot about that. Oh, that is what happened. Oh, that's who was in that movie. So,
Okay.
no. What about you?
So I did enjoy the movie. Um, I didn't know what to expect because, again, I don't watch trailers, and I've done a very good job of not getting any spoilers coming into this movie. I think the only thing I saw before the movie was somebody saying that Jennifer Garner's portrayal of the Silver Surfer was like a standout or something like that.
Mm,
Um, I think. I think they did a good job because Marvel's in a weird spot where people are bored with the main storylines that they have. Like they moved on from the original versions of their characters. They're in like the second iterations of different characters. Thanos is gone, so they've been trying to figure out how to establish a new super enemy, whatever.
mm,
Um, and when you're introducing new characters, it's very difficult because they've made things so significant that
right,
introducing a new character feels insignificant,
right,
like an individual character. But now you're introducing four characters, a team of characters, and like
right.
you don't have time to spend with like each individual character making
Doing the
them
whole
better.
backstory and all of that
All
stuff,
right.
right?
I honestly think that was part of the issue with Eternals was like you got a bunch of characters and it's hard to make us care about all of them.
Right,
So with Fantastic Four, again, they had the characters that are beloved, first of all, and they had to make them matter, and they had to figure out a way to make it be something that accomplished the goals of making us care about these characters and making us want to see them again,
right,
basically. They did a lot with a little. The movie's not very long. It's pretty straightforward. There's not like a bunch of action necessarily. There's a lot of emotion though, and I think that's
right.
what I liked
And a
about it.
lot of dialogue, but not in a bad way. I don't think we were overwhelmed with the dialogue. I think the dialogue was necessary because, like you said, it's with the emotion. We felt just from the expressions, the gestures, but also when we tied in the dialogue, and I think not just when they were talking to each other.
Hmm.
We gain an understanding of their relationship towards one another,
Right.
their individual internal struggles, what they think, what they feel, and like what they were up against. Like you could feel it.
Hmm. I think again with this movie, the way that we get the backstory is a montage, and that was perfectly fine. Like we
Right.
get the whole old-timey newscaster,
I like
3 years ago. Well, you said it was 4 years ago. 4 years
that.
ago, they went out into space and came back changed and blah blah blah. Blah. Like that was fine. Like
Right.
I think. And that we can say this about Superman too. I know we didn't review Superman on the podcast, but the same thing that James Gunn did with Superman is like, I'm not gonna go back to when the baby landed on Krypton. Like,
Mm,
at some point, I have to accept that y'all know most
right,
of this stuff, and whatever you don't know, you can go fill in the blanks yourself.
right.
Like, I'm going to get into my story for the most part. And so Marvel here gives you a little bit more. They gave you, like I said, the montage to say, here, this is how they got their powers, and they've come back and they're sharing all this technology with us and all this, that, and the third. That's perfectly fine.
But you know what though? I feel like they did the montage and then afterwards they were like 4 years later. And so I think just as human beings, we can just think about what can change in 4 years.
Mhm.
You know, I got these powers. I'm experiencing life. I'm trying to be as normal as possible. But how do I move? How do I exist? How do I coexist with the people that I care about, that I love? Because this traumatic thing happened to all of us. So how do we make the best and the most of what has happened? Because, while the world may celebrate it, how do I really feel about it?
Yeah, and I think so as we get into the movie itself, they gave us montages of them fighting different characters, this, that, and the third to kind of establish like they've been doing this for a while. And so when we are introduced to them live, it's or Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, Mr. Fantastic. I was not
Yeah.
tripping. Mr.
Yeah.
Fantastic and
I
Sue.
always think about Mrs. Terrific. That's
Yeah,
why it
that's why
throws me off.
that's
Like
why
I have to
yeah.
close my eyes and like repeat it and say it again.
Yeah,
So,
I the thing second. Oh, Mr. Fantastic and Sue um finding out that she's pregnant. And it's like, okay, we're diving straight into this is where they're at in their lives now. We established that they've been trying for some time and had pretty much given up from what they say. And so now we're thrust into this. And one of the first scenes is with them coming out of the bathroom and being weird.
mhm.
And Johnny's like, why are y'all being weird? And at the same time, we see Ben
They
like
went to
looking at
dinner.
him like quietly,
Right. They
like
went,
looking at him and then being like, are you pregnant? Like straight
right.
up. And that just that scene alone establishes all of their personalities. Like
Mhm.
Reed is the analytical nerd who can't hide anything,
Socially
basically.
awkward.
Right. And Sue was chilling, but Reed gave it away. And Ben knows his friend and is
Mm,
like, she pregnant.
right.
And Johnny's like, I'm trying to get to this food. Like, I don't know what y'all got going on, but you being weird.
Right.
Um, we didn't need a bunch of backstory. That was enough.
Mm-mm. I think in that moment we saw the connection. We
Right.
felt the connection. We felt what everybody here feels for each other. Even Johnny was just like, yeah, you're gonna have these uncles, like we're gonna be the best uncles ever and that thing. And he, joked around and Joan on Ben and everything. But like we got their personalities.
Right. And then you got Reed for a lot of the movie before the baby comes is like trying to figure out what's gonna go wrong.
Right.
Trying to figure out what he can do to prevent what's going on. He's testing the baby constantly to see if there's any powers or anything like
Any
that
anomalies and
developing.
stuff,
Right.
right?
So that's his personality. And um let's talk about the arc of uh Reed and Sue.
Okay.
So Sue, again, she's got this baby, and she got this husband who is nervous about this baby.
Right.
She knows she can't stop him from being him, but she tries to like tell him like, "Hey, you've tested 1,000 times. Like, just let it be what it's gonna be."
Just chill and just allow it. Yeah.
And he, I think, tries to hide the thoughts and feelings that he has throughout the movie. I think that's probably the best part of Pedro's acting is his facial expressions.
I agree.
Um, like anytime a new scenario is presented, he's running through the calculations and possibilities. And Sue, because she's been with him for some time, knows what he's thinking at all times,
Right.
no matter how much he tries to hide it. I thought that was a great way to show their relationship.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, Anything to add with them that you noticed?
Um,
You don't have to have something.
no, 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 no. I just I appreciate the dynamic between the two of them, but also how different they are.
Okay.
They seem like polar opposites. Um, he's very analytical, very logical, um, a realist,
Mhm.
and she seems like the type of person who, uh, I don't think she's absent-minded, but I think that I would describe her as carefree. Let's just allow things to be, and just let's walk into whatever, and we're gonna be okay, that type of thing. And maybe that kind of ties into what happened to them. Like, okay, we didn't prepare for this to, experience this thing and get these powers and all this and that. We weren't prepared for
And
that,
we
but
don't
we're
know the
okay.
details of how that
Right.
played out. I don't know if it matters to that degree, but it gives you something to think about.
Right. It gives you something to think about. And then, it doesn't have to necessarily be what is, what isn't. It's just a thought. And so, it seems as if she's more of the type of person that's just like, okay, I want to move on my emotions, right?
Yeah.
I would, dare to say that um when she came out to what word am I looking for?
What do you
When
mean
she came out with the baby,
to speak to
right?
the people?
Right. When she came out to speak to the people. Um, that was emotional.
Right.
That was I want to pull on your heartstrings. I don't think it was disingenuous. I think she meant it and she felt it. But I think that it was her. Like,
Yeah.
this is me. Like, Reed over here doing his thing. He coming up with, all of these different scenarios and stuff. And he's all stressed out. You know, Ben is, kind of going through his phase of, am I gonna talk to this girl? Am I not gonna talk to this girl? And oh yeah, the world may be ending. So I might need to go ahead and make a move. Then you got Johnny, who I love how, they didn't upplay him as this big playboy, and because he'd be out in the streets with this girl and that girl and everything, but he's actually doing a lot of the work as well and trying to figure out what is playing on these
The tapes, the
the
recordings.
recordings, right? And so but for her, it's just like, okay, everybody else has their role. Everybody else is doing what they're doing. This is me, and I have to do my part. And I felt like she felt, this is my part. This is my contribution.
And I feel like there was like a certain bravery in trusting that the people would appreciate her in that way and
Mm,
not snatch the baby and take off, be like,
right.
hey, glad to come get his baby.
Right. Because, baby, I was thinking they would. I was so stressed and so worried about that because it's so many of them and it's just one of you. And then I thought, well,
Yeah.
what is I was gonna say? Then I thought, maybe she tough because she just like, oh, I could take you if I
Put this
needed
force
to.
field up and you bust your head on it. Like,
Right.
fuck you.
If I need to defend, if I need to protect, I'm gonna do it. But right now, I want to approach your human nature with mine.
I think one of the things I wanted to talk about, and I'll just bring it up since it's on my mind. Um, this universe, the way that they establish this universe is not in our main timeline. This is a different universe. And so the way they kind of made it feel was like they're the only superheroes in this universe.
Right.
They fought different villains here and there, but for the most part, they are the only superheroes and like they're beloved by the people. Because I
Right.
was thinking like they're outside their compound protesting or whatever,
Hmm.
and they're just chilling. Like there's no threat here. Like nobody really gonna do nothing because they were praised and worshiped.
Right.
When they went out to try to go see what Galactus was talking about, when Silver Surfer came and gave a warning, said, "Hey, hug your loved ones" and all that good stuff, and they went out to space and were like, "We're gonna go solve this." People was like, "Yeah, they gonna solve it. Hey, it's good."
Right. Because never before had they seen a villain that wasn't defeated by them.
Right. So then they come back and everybody like, so, tell us how you beat Galactus, dog. Tell us how you beat him. And he was like, yeah, we ain't beat him. They're like,
What is
what
it?
that
What is
mean?
right? What?
You ain't beat him,
Right.
but you back. So trying to figure out how that makes sense. He was like, well, he asked for something, but it was too much. Okay,
What was it? What
what
did
he
he ask
asked for?
for?
He asked for the baby in exchange for the lives of everybody.
And you
And
said no?
it was funny because, like, as he's saying, they asked for the baby. As he's saying they asked for the baby, he was looking at the people's faces. He was like, I sound crazy saying they asked for one life for billions, and
Right.
I said no.
No.
That
Not even I'll think about it. Not a negotiation. We'll try to work something out, but my baby, no.
yeah. And so keep in mind, like all these people have been told, like, hey, the Earth gonna get consumed, and y'all got like days, and so everybody's freaking out. And then he come back
And
talking
they've
about
been gone for a month.
right. They left for a month, came back, and it was like, yeah, they asked for the baby, so we said no. So did he just go? The whole Earth go instead?
Right.
Like that's the other option we got.
Right.
And Reed was like, they were basically like, we gonna have to find another way. But the people were protesting because they were like, hey man, but this seems like a simple solution to me, man.
Right.
Hey, I know that's your baby or whatever, but go ahead, hand little buddy over like that. Go ahead and take care of the rest of us. We figure it out.
Right.
Um, I thought that was interesting because again, like besides the fact that they haven't seen these people be defeated, I think this is the first time that the Fantastic Four has to deal with
Mm,
being questioned by
right.
the public. And so, like you mentioned, that Sue moment was them getting them back on their side. Like, hey, y'all know us, y'all love us. We've been protecting y'all for years.
Right.
This is our baby.
But you know what, too? I think it was just they were slapped with reality because, again, we talk about how the people are used to them defeating these villains.
Mhm.
They're used to that as well.
Right.
So you have this great mighty
When Galactus
being,
walked out,
right?
they was like, "Oh, snap!"
Right. And they were like, we ain't never seen it like this.
God, that's you.
Right. Right. And so I think in that it was just like when they got off, when they got back to Earth
They barely
and
got
they got
there.
right and they got off the ship and they're walking through, they look tired. Like
It was like,
like, oh
huh.
my goodness, I didn't know there's stuff out there like
And
that.
it was funny because like when they first pulled up on Galactus, like they was like they're gonna planet. He's somewhere around here, and then the planet was gone in like seconds. They was like, huh,
Right?
that planet was bigger than
Bigger
Earth.
than Earth. It was like 18 times
No, he
bigger.
said 13%.
13% larger. I said
I
the
was like, he
same
keep
thing
trying to make it
last
this
time.
gigantic, but he was like, he said it's 13% larger.
Right, and it was nothing.
And then they had to sit there and like they couldn't move. It was like, oh snap. Are we about to get ate? Because it could have been that easy for real, for real. Like Gladys was playing with y'all. But then like he did the little scan thing and stopped on her stomach for a minute. And at first it was like, is he just acknowledging that she's pregnant? I don't know nothing about this baby coming into
Right,
this movie. I
right,
didn't even know she was gonna be pregnant in the movie. I was
right.
like, is that normal? Do she be pregnant in the comic books? Like, because I ain't
Right.
never seen it.
And I felt like when it just stopped on him, I think it was I thought it was just acknowledging that there's another person here
Right.
as well.
Mhm.
I ain't know.
He was like, hey,
I ain't know.
hey, that baby powerful. Let
Hey,
me hold that baby.
give me that baby right quick.
And they was like, what? And then Reed went to his little nerd, like, I've done all the scans. Like,
It's,
I've brought back no anomalies.
he was ready to argue with him.
Right. And then Galactus was like, yeah, he hiding his true nature from you. And that was when I was like, oh, how powerful is the damn baby?
Right.
I was terrified at that moment. I was terrified of Galactus. Now I'm terrified of this baby. Like, he in the womb and he knows to hide his nature from his
Right,
parents, which means
right.
he's observed that they're concerned and
Exactly.
is like, oops,
And
let me make sure they don't know.
let's think back to what you just referenced in the beginning of this podcast. the bad seed. Like, what's this baby gonna be like? Does the
Yeah,
baby love us?
about to
Does
say
it
if the
care about us?
if the baby come out and don't like y'all, baby Damien, like
Right.
it's gonna be a problem. Like it's gonna be a problem. And you got this gigantic being saying, "Hey, yeah, he's strong, strong. Yeah, he could take my spot. Like he
Right.
could do this." And it's like
Right.
he could do what?
Right.
The baby?
And this is before the baby was even born. Like,
Like they don't even know what the baby looked like. Galactus telling them all this stuff about his baby and
right.
why he knows so much.
Right.
What's going on? Um, but I'm gonna come back to a scene related to this in a minute. But let's talk about Galactus from here.
Okay.
When you're dealing with a character like that, a lot of people were concerned about the portrayal, like would he look huge, blah 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 blah.
Hmm.
They did an amazing job of making him look gigantic
Right.
and scary. Did you feel they did a job of making him a good villain? I know we talked about this off cam, but
Okay, so for me, I do think that they did a good job. And I'm gonna say because um when you think about the Fantastic Four, and you compare them to other Marvel characters with all this great and powerful strength and this agility and these abilities and that, all of these things, I guess your average everyday person would say that they don't even amount to a Captain America,
mm,
a Hulk,
okay,
Iron Man.
right.
Um, and so I think I can appreciate the fact that this is this great being
Mhm.
in this character. He's he's wise
Yeah.
because he been around for a very long time, right? He's powerful. Um, and he knows things that you know not. And so if you put them on a scale, he outweighs them tremendously. He outweighs them in so many different fashions.
Yeah.
And so what are you gonna do? And so I'm freaking out watching the movie because I'm just like, oh, just pack it up.
Yeah.
Cause I mean, I don't even know how y'all get out of here at this point. Cause like you're right here and you're telling him no. Like you okay? Like you're just gonna say no and not like say it in moving and running.
Yeah.
You're standing here and like Reed, he's all emotional and he's just like, you want my kid? But he want to know more. And so
Right.
he's trying to have a conversation. And I'm just like, bro, go. Like, I don't know how y'all gonna get out of here, but you're gonna have to try to. It's time to leave. Because do you see him?
Yeah.
That's my thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like they established him, like it was clear that he was not threatened by them.
Right.
It was like, hey, little beings,
He
like
almost wanted to laugh at
he
him.
probably was going to take him out until he realized that baby was there, and he was like, "Oh, I need that baby."
Right. So
Like,
I'll holler at y'all later.
yeah, he was like, "So because I want something from y'all, that's the only reason y'all alive right now," type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another thing where he's like a villain with a code, like sent Silver Surfer ahead is like warn him, like, "Hey, your planet about to be gone, so y'all may want to like
Mm.
make your final arrangement, whatever."
Right.
And then he gonna come through and do what he gotta do. Like she picking the planets out.
Right.
Um, with a villain, you have to establish one or two things, I think is what I said previously. They either have to be just terrifying
Mm.
or that you have to relate to them in some way or connect with them in some way. So like Killmonger
Mm.
was a character that was like, I understand why he's doing what he's doing.
Right.
Whether or not I agree with what he was trying to do, which
You
I
got it.
he definitely was going a little bit too far. Like
Right.
he had his motives, his reasoning was legitimate. His what he wanted to do, his plan was terrible.
Right.
Um, but I could like be like, okay, I see what he's trying to do. We mentioned Thanos. We talked about Thanos.
Mm.
Like his goals were not terrible. His idea, what he wanted to accomplish in having populations limited so resources
Right.
could expand. Not a bad move. How we're getting there is the bad move, sir.
Right.
Just randomly killing half the universe is kind of rough. Um, with Galactus, like him wanting your baby, I'm
Mm,
definitely not going to
mm,
get on board with that.
no.
That's not what we're doing here.
No. And to be able to, Silver Surfer was going through the stomach. She was like, oh,
And that's the scene I was going to come back to. When she put her hand in Sue's stomach, I was like, hey, yo, y'all doing a lot right now. Like, I'm about
right,
to get sick. If she pulled this baby out right now, I was about to be upset. I was about to say Marvel
right,
villain for this.
right.
Oh my gosh. It was like, it was an interesting moment in the movie, but I think, again, with Galactus, they made him seem unbeatable. And
Exactly.
that's a good way to
Hmm.
establish a villain.
That makes sense, though. I didn't think about it in that way. Either unbeatable or what was the second one?
You relate to him.
Relatable.
Yeah,
Relatable.
relatable.
Unbeatable or relatable.
Relatable. And the last part I'll say, and we'll take a quick little break. What you were saying is like you looked at them and you looked at him and he was like, how they gonna do this? I think that's part of the Fantastic Four too, is that they're not a punchy punch team. They
Hmm.
are thinkers.
Right.
And this movie did a good job of leaning into that and not feeling like they had to be punchy punchy. Which we'll get into.
Okay.
All right. Other characters, and these were characters that didn't have as much to do, so we'll just kind of hit them quickly. Ben Grimm, I think one of the things I liked about the way they handled his character in this movie is, usually they lean into or they spend a lot of time of him being, oh, I'm a rock, like I hate my life, blah, blah, blah. They didn't do that in this movie. They just had like little quiet moments of reflection. Like there was one scene where he's watching the video of them before they took off and
And he
seeing
looks
his
away.
his old face, and yeah, he
Right.
just kind of has the look on his face. We have the moment where he sees the girl that he's kind of feeling, and you mentioned earlier he was like struggling with the idea of if he should talk to her or not. And that's
Right.
again like if he was his regular self, he probably wouldn't have no issue. But because he's a big rock dude who feels like nobody can love him, there's hesitation there. We didn't need him to have outward expressions of that. We just know.
Right.
Um, Anything you wanted to add there, or
No, I think you
okay?
covered that.
And then with Johnny, you mentioned earlier, usually he's this big playboy type. They didn't do that. They did have the running joke of him trying to figure out if Silver Surfer if the board was part of her body or not. And
Right.
like they were judging
It's
him.
like, Johnny, your girlfriend's here.
They were judging him because like he chased her to space and she like said something to him and he came back and was like, nah, she said something to me. And they were like, so you trying to say the girl flirting with you, this big silver woman that says she's gonna kill the earth. Like that's what you came back here to tell us. And it's like they're downplaying that he's intelligent.
Right.
And so then that becomes his thing. Like, y'all not the only ones that smart. Like I'm smart too. And so then he locks in on figuring out her language and stuff like that, which I thought was really dope.
Right. Right.
Um, Speaking of Silver Surfer, we get her little backstory and an explanation of how she became what's the word he used? The Herald? Was it Herald?
I can't remember.
All
I
right,
feel
I
like it
can't. It
was.
might have been Herald, the Herald of Galactus, if you will. Like
Mhm.
she basically made it to where it was she went with him instead of him destroying her planet.
She sacrificed herself.
So she sacrificed herself instead of her planet going.
Right.
So basically, the baby is going to be another version of her
Mm.
in this scenario, which made me wonder, like, is he going to get rid of her if he's saying the baby could take his spot, or how is this going to play out?
Well, I saw it differently. I
Okay,
felt as if he was saying, I'm tired, I'm done.
hmm
She gonna work for him.
gotcha.
She's gonna work for the baby.
That would be interesting. But yeah, like again, I felt like there was that kind of planted a seed of does she not have incentive to kind of step in here too? Um, that's where it put my head. So I was questioning. And I know you were saying during the movie, like they're gonna need her to switch sides at some point.
Yes, yes. And when it happened, I was, I was so stressed. I'm always so stressed. I'm always so stressed when I'm watching movies and everything, especially Marvel movies, DC movies. But just the idea that they couldn't do it without her. I felt like she's inside. She knows him.
Mhm.
That's intel that's necessary
Yeah.
to defeating him. They needed her because that's a ram in the bush, if you will.
Mm.
You know, that's a moment like, oh, I don't think I have anything, and oh, voila, like she steps in.
I thought it was dope that they spent a lot of time in the movie coming up with this elaborate plan and getting everybody on board across the globe and
Right.
put this thing together. And it was like, all right, here we go.
And
Let's
then
do it.
everything starts going out.
But it was perfect because, again, we have the MCU, right?
Right.
We come in, we know that this planet is not the Earth that we're familiar with. They're set in the 60s, but it's like a futuristic 60s. It's not the 60s that we
We
had in
know.
our timeline.
Right.
Like, that's not where Captain, well, I guess he would have left in the 40s or 50s. Anyway, it's not the 60s from our timeline. And so when they come up with this elaborate plan to move the Earth, the thinking was like, oh, maybe they're bringing the Earth to, like, there's going to be two Earths
Mm,
in our main timeline.
mhm,
It fits with like the one of the difficult things with having an extended universe like this is when you have to consider making a movie, your ideas are limited by the bigger picture.
right.
And so this one had a little bit more flexibility, but even something like that could fit with the timeline. So I thought that played nicely for me personally as a
Mm,
person who's always thinking about the bigger picture.
right.
Um, She comes in, destroys it, like you said, and then it's like, oh, dang, they got to pivot again.
Right.
And they didn't know what they were going to do. They put the plan together. They have him walking, trying to get him to a specific spot, and then he stops.
Mm.
And oh, clever little ants. Is that what he said?
Clever little something.
Insects, I think. Clever little insects or something like that. And I was like, dog, like they can't get this guy. They can't get him. Like nothing's going right. And like you said, Johnny was about to sacrifice himself. Sue's putting all her body into it. And like the little switcheroo hadn't worked. So like Johnny was like, I'm gonna be the uncle, I'm gonna sacrifice myself, and then boom, your girl come out of nowhere with the clutch save.
But you know what though? I feel like that just kind of represents who they are as a family. Um, I think it's fair to say that each one of them will sacrifice themselves for the next person.
Each one kind of did their best to sacrifice themselves in the same
Right.
way. I think Ben maybe is the only one that didn't get super close to dying or actually dying like Sue did.
Right.
Um, and then
And like Sue did, like
yeah,
Johnny did, and like Reed
Reed
did.
almost got popped, I
Right.
guess. Some people
Right.
were mad about that. Some people were like, his whole thing is stretching, and then like he's being stretched and it hurts.
But I think that
There's a limitation.
yes, and I think and I appreciate that. Even with Sue dying, like
Yeah.
there are limitations. They are human. At the core, they
Right.
have these powers, but it's not unlimited.
And like Johnny, when they were in space, was like, you can only be flamed on for a certain amount of time. You're gonna
Mhm.
run out all your oxygen
Exactly,
because he needed the
exactly.
oxygen to be flamed on.
So
So
they played it well, I feel like, with each and every one of them.
yeah, it was really cool. Mole Man, random, but cool to see other characters, and the fact that they got Hauser to play the character was cool too.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the game. I don't know. I mention the game a lot when it comes to Marvel properties, but Mole Man is a character in the game, and he rides like this big underground toad type thing in the game.
Mm.
Uh, but
I love how they work together with him, though.
yeah, that was cool that they kind of came together in the
Mm.
end, even though he was a weirdo.
Because he was like, I mean, I like her too.
But he tried to like play it like, "Oh, man, he gonna eat the top first. So I don't know what to tell you." And then
Right.
they were like, "No, he gonna come
I
from
feel
the
like
beef."
there's something between her husband, or between Reed and him
They're
that
both science nerds,
right.
and you know how that go. Um,
It's competitive.
let's get into some of the lighter stuff. Favorite scenes.
Um,
I'm gonna let you go first. Go ahead.
you sure?
Ladies
Are
first.
you sure?
Ladies first.
Okay. Favorite scene. Um, uh, Sue.
Okay.
Sue, um, using all her strength.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Favorite scene.
And
Favorite.
pushing Galactus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Favorite scene. Um, just knowing that type of love, like I would move mountains for you. I would do anything for you. I guess I relate to
Okay.
her.
Yeah,
And
like
so
the
the
motherhood thing.
relatability.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I'll do anything, go to the ends of wherever. I will sacrifice anything. I will destroy things
Yeah.
for you.
I thought it was dope to see them like being like, I ain't know Sue could do all that type of
Exactly.
thing. My mom always references um that mothers have superhuman strength in those moments, and like
Mm,
talking about a lady who lifted a car off of her child one time
mhm.
and stuff like that. And that this is one of those moments where she like, I'm stepping up to the next degree because it's either all or nothing. This is not no situation where I can hold back.
Right. And I feel like even outside of motherhood, like I feel like each one of us as individuals, we are capable of much more than we even imagine, we even know. And
Mhm.
it takes us being in these situations where our
Yeah.
back is against the wall and it requires that we step it up.
Push to the limits.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we're just like, oh wow, I could do that. Now it did take her out, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think she cared.
I don't think she did. Like
Yeah.
because he warned her.
Yeah.
Who was it? Was it Ben? No, it was Reed that was warning her.
Yeah.
And Ben said something too. It was just like, oh wow, like what,
But then they
she,
locked in and was like, we
right.
gotta make sure we
Because they
help
knew
her.
she had decided.
Yeah.
She wasn't holding back.
Yeah.
Y'all
I
told
think she
her.
had to tell one of them like, y'all better make this work.
Right, exactly. And so, take care of the baby.
Mhm.
And so I think it was understood that, she willing to go out. Let's
We
kick it up
gotta
a
do what we
notch. We got to
can.
do what we can.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh,
So,
this wasn't gonna be on my list of like my favorite scenes, but I thought I was like back, like he pulling backwards like very slowly, and he grabs onto a building to hold
right.
himself up at one point, and Ben like runs through the pillars to like knock the
Mm,
building loose, so he loses his grip. I was like, that's just like a cool
right. I love
detail.
that. I love that.
My favorite scene, so I was going Sue as well, but it's actually when you brought up earlier where she goes out to the people and like introduces them to Franklin. I thought it was brave. That's like she did two things that were extremely brave, but
Mhm.
like I thought it was a dope scene. It was an emotional scene, and like again, this is a world where these people admire them to a certain degree, and she had to remind them like, no, like we are a family. Like we welcome y'all into our family. Like we're not gonna give away anybody in our family, like not just our baby. Like we're not giving y'all up either. Like, did y'all
Right.
forget that? Like we not in there just chilling. We not in
Right.
there thinking of an escape plan. We
Right.
trying to save everybody.
Exactly.
And so we need y'all support. And I
Right.
thought that was dope, like as a speech in a superhero movie.
I agree because I feel like, back to the montage, we see all of these villains and then all these times where they saved the world. And so it's just like, hey, come on now. We got y'all. We always have. We always will. This baby doesn't change anything. If anything, it activates us even more to where we have even more to fight for alongside you.
And I think it's easy. I feel like we've seen, especially with Superman recently, Superman being jaded by the fact that people turn on him at
Mm,
some point, and like superheroes in general being like, y'all taking
right.
me for granted.
Hmm.
Like all
Right.
this stuff I did
Blow
for you.
stuff up, tear
Right.
stuff up,
Now I got to show you.
and lean into who they think that they already are.
I
And
gotta make you
so,
fear me since
right.
you've turned on me in this way. But I thought it was a dope way to play that out, and it's gonna be interesting to see how they end up interacting with the characters on our side who have dealt with people turning on them and wanting their identities on a register and this, that, and the third. So that's gonna be fun.
Right. I
And
agree.
arresting them, like some of them been put in jail for
Right.
superheroing.
And so at the end of Thunderbolts, when we see that ship, the spaceship coming through,
Mhm.
we don't know who's on it. We don't know what's going on. But I'm like in my mind, I'm trying to play it out. Like
Why
what
are they there?
right? Or what's that gonna look like? Like what's that gonna look like if you think about the personality traits, um, the abilities, the skills,
Yeah.
the experience. Like, what are they gonna talk about?
It's gonna be
What are they gonna do? And it's just got me excited just for what's to come.
it's gonna be very interesting. Any other favorite scenes?
No.
I was gonna say the baby snatching moment. Like it wasn't a favorite scene in the
Mhm.
sense of like, ooh,
It
what an
was jaw
amazing scene.
dropping.
It
It
was
was
just like,
like,
oh my
oh
God, what are y'all doing?
God.
What are y'all doing? She put her head in that woman's stomach. I was like, oh my gosh. Um,
Like I could feel it in me. Like, oh, what are you
it made me very
doing? What are
uncomfortable
you
in that
doing?
moment. But yeah, let's move on then. Is there anything in the movie you did not like?
You go first because I'm trying to remember
I'm trying to
mine.
remember if you said this before. I don't want to steal your thing.
Go ahead.
My thing was going to be Sue very cavalierly going into space pregnant.
Okay, yep. That's it. That's it.
Like
Oh my gosh. Why
speed
was
of
she
light.
even there?
Speed of light. No, they didn't say anything about her having like an extra protective layer over
Nope.
her stomach
And
or
she was
nothing
pregnant.
to potentially fight.
Right.
Like, do you think the ops are going to be like, "Oh, she pregnant, don't hit her"? No, they going to do whatever they going to do
They
to
gonna do
her.
exactly what Silver Surfer did. Oh, let me just put my hand in here and snatch your baby out of your body.
Like that was a little bit wild for me. Like that she just decided, yeah, let's go to space. This will be normal
And
and fun.
nobody talked about it. It was not addressed at
The only
all.
thing he said was that he had to make her suit bigger.
Right.
That was the only reference to her being pregnant, going to space and moving at the speed of light.
But you know what? We did say that I don't know. She seems like the type of woman she's gonna do what she wants to do.
Yeah,
Like you can't convince her
tell.
otherwise. She's gonna do it. And maybe for her, it was like, okay, I need to see what we're up against myself because I'm gonna defend, whatever I need to do. And so I need to be there so I can have this firsthand experience. But baby, no. What are we doing?
What else? You got anything else? Or things you didn't like?
Um, okay, so I like redemption. I don't like the Silver Surfer went out with them.
Mm,
I don't like that. I don't like that. Like in my mind, she would be redeemed for the pain that she's caused and that type of thing. Um, because even even in the beginning, I feel like there there was a heart in her, even though she felt like, my duty is to him, I'm loyal to him and
mm,
everything, because a lot of things she could have done, she didn't do. When Johnny was on her board, you know, floating all the way to the sky before she said what she said,
mm.
that could have been the moment. Like she didn't just throw her power around to just, make people just, will to what she wanted. She she was loyal to the guy. And I get it, she sacrificed herself, but at the same time, I felt like a part of her still had a heart. She's still who she was before she joined alongside of him. And so the fact that she didn't get to have a redemption story, that made me sad. The fact that
You don't think that moment is enough?
but she never gets to go back home.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I think they're not dead. They just kind of sent them far out to the universe. We don't know where exactly.
Because
So
she with him.
she is, and I can imagine that's not going to go over well.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
So we will see if she ends up coming back later. But yeah, I got you. I'm with it. I'm with it.
So what about you?
That was actually like a oh man, like I wish that didn't have to go that way, but I'd rather her than Johnny type of situation for me. But yeah, though I would like to see the Silver Surfer again. I don't think there was really much else. I was gonna say that there wasn't. I'm not gonna say this is something I didn't like. There wasn't a lot of action. I actually liked that there wasn't a lot of action, but I'm curious how they're gonna use them in the future.
Alongside everybody
And
else that's always doing, always moving, blowing up stuff, and all of that.
so Reese said this in. our episode of What the Game's Been Missing, we were talking about the post credit scene. So the first post credit scene is 4 years later.
Right.
Franklin is four.
Hmm.
They're reading a book. And Sue steps away. She comes back, and Doctor Doom is holding Franklin.
Right.
We know who Doctor Doom is.
We don't. I don't.
Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, we know. Okay.
Yeah.
But his character, I don't know.
But we don't see him. We don't get a taste of him. We don't get a glimpse of him. I don't even know if they mentioned Victor Von Doom in the movie at all.
Mm,
So we know that he's going to be a big deal. The next Avengers movie is Avengers Doomsday.
mm,
There's only one movie before Avengers Doomsday, and it's Spider-Man.
mm,
So the next time we see all the characters is going to be up against Doctor Doom. They have a lot of work to do to establish Doctor Doom at this point.
mm.
And so that would be the a question. I'm not gonna say it was something I didn't like about the movie, but it's something that I like have questions about. Like why didn't we get at least a glimpse of Doom
Right.
in this?
And how is it gonna play out? You know, like what is gonna be their role in Doomsday? Um,
I actually saw a report yesterday that Reed is going to have a major role in the movie. At
mm,
least Reed. So
mm,
I'm assuming he's going to be helping formulate the plan to do whatever they're going to do.
right. I would love to see him alongside Doctor Strange.
Gosh. Magic versus science.
Exactly. The argument, yeah, I could imagine.
Cool. I'm not mad at it. Now,
Okay.
I did have something to add. This is not related to reviewing the movie necessarily. The second post-credit scene. Remember, it was the cartoons.
Oh, and it didn't have sound?
That was not supposed to be the case.
Okay. I was wondering if that was just the theater that we
Yeah,
were
so I
in.
asked Reese, I was like, did it have no audio? And he was like, no, it had audio. So
The
I don't
only
know
thing we heard was the click
there
when you turn
was
the television
yeah,
on.
I don't know what happened there, but it was supposed to have audio. That was weird.
Okay, well, we need to watch that because I don't know what was saying.
See if you don't know if there's potentially something important going on.
Right.
We can find it, I'm sure online. Anything else to add before we get up out of here? I think we might have kept this under an hour.
Mm-mm. I don't have anything else. Rating.
Rating, yes. And I gotta make sure I'm updating the letterboxed
Mm,
so people know what our ratings are. I probably need to ask you about some movies we watch. But anyway,
right.
scale of 1 to 5, how you feeling?
I'm at a 5.
5 out of 5.
I'm at a 5.
Wow, talk about it.
I enjoyed it. It was
So
good.
brown butter popcorn.
Brown butter popcorn. It was good from start to finish for me. Um and so I didn't have any expectations, and
Right.
so I don't have. I know a lot of people were talking about certain things that they wish was, I guess, more of the tropes
Mhm.
that we have related to them. Um, a desire for that. I didn't. It didn't lack anything from me.
Okay. No, I don't think it was missing anything. I will say I don't know if it had that oomph for real
Hmm.
necessarily, but it did enough. Like I care about these characters, I want to see more of them, etc. To balance it out, I'm gonna go butter popcorn with a 4, so that leaves us at a 4.5, which is
Mm,
probably really where I want to go. But
hmm.
yeah, I'm gonna go before butter popcorn. Like you said, I enjoyed the movie. I can say there's better movies, so I can't go all the way,
Right.
but I'm happy with giving it a 4. And I think Marvel did a good job. Marvel's been good to me lately. I can say that.
Oh yeah. Anything else?
We got our hands full with movie reviews we got to catch up on. So I think we can get up out of here.
I think we can.
Do we know what we're doing next?
We don't. We
We don't.
don't.
Do you want to do a Superman rating? Even though we didn't talk about a movie?
I think we can.
All right, let's talk about it. I mean, let's get a rating
I'll
in.
say a 4 for me.
4 for Superman.
Yeah.
Um,
It was just so much going on in the movie.
yeah,
And not in a bad way, but it was just, and I'm trying not to compare it because we just been spending this whole time talking about the Fantastic Four.
Hmm.
But it was a lot. It was a lot of moving parts
Yeah.
to everything, and it was just like it wasn't hard to follow, but it was just like, oh my God, what a day. Like all of this stuff, all of this stuff is happening over, this short amount of time, but it's just like this is a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff is happening. And I think maybe, with the world splitting in two or the city splitting in two, I think that kind of heightened it. Like, oh man, everything's just moving so fast and we're running out of time.
Okay. I think for me, I've never liked Superman. I've
Mm,
never liked Superman. I just feel like he's super overpowered and not fun. Um,
not in this movie though.
while I can say he wasn't necessarily my favorite part of this movie, it's probably Mr. Terrific. Um, they made a Superman that I don't hate, and
Mm.
that's a victory in and of itself. Um, some people were mad that he was as vulnerable as he was in this movie. I think that
Mm,
that's how you make him likable.
I agree.
Personally,
I
like if
agree.
I
I
feel like he's
agree.
unstoppable, then it's hard to relate and connect to him.
Right.
Um,
There's the people who just want to go to the movie and just see a lot of action, a lot of fighting and punching and kicking and everything. And that's cool. Like I like that too. But I don't know. Maybe it's
he had plenty of fights. He just wasn't
right.
necessarily dominating.
I don't know. I think it's the psychology in me that desires to dive deeper to figure out people's thoughts, their feelings, their behaviors, their motives,
Okay.
and their ambitions.
All of that said, I guess I'm gonna go also with a four. So butter
Mm.
popcorn. And I'm excited about the James Gunn verse. I'm excited about the Marvel universe. I think we're in good hands right now.
Agree. I always agree with you.
No.
I
With that said, I think we're gonna get up out of here. It's been another good day with you listeners.
the whole time.
I hope your popcorn kernels are not burnt and that your butter is just right.
And it's always brown butter.
It's
You was supposed to
on the
end it then. That was like it's a brown butter. Like
all right, we out.
peace.
Peace.
Oh
All right, folks, welcome back to. I could cut this out. What you gonna
no,
show
we
me?
don't have to cut it out. Let's keep going.
Yes, we do. At this
No,
point,
don't. I don't. It's fine.
it's not.
You just said
We
I'm
can't
about.
start the
You
podcast like
said
that.
I'm about to press record, and you
Then I
did it.
pushed it.
Like no time. Don't mess it up. Let's just keep
I'm
going.
gonna put it at the end. This is gonna be like a bonus
A little
credit.
blooper.
Yes.
Beep beep.
Let's try this again.